The road to corporate America is wide, but very few have the courage, grit, and fortitude to set out on their own as a business owner. The beauty of the franchise model is that you're not on your own. In franchising, we always hear about the stats, 4,000 brands, 1 in 4 businesses, 30% year over year. But what about the people? The people that left the security of their 9-to-5 corporate job. They left steady raises, PTO, retirement plan, manage their own time, and stake a claim on their own future. Welcome to Untold Franchise Stories. I'm Carey Gille, your host and the CEO of Franchise Fastlane. I've always had an entrepreneurial mindset and have been in the franchising industry for over 20 years now, both as an executive and as a franchisee myself. But Untold Franchisee Stories isn't about me. I am not the hero of this story. The heroes here are ordinary individuals, and they finally did something about it by choosing the entrepreneurial path through franchising. Listen in and always remember this insight from Henry Ford. Whether you think you can or you can't, you're exactly right. We have a good one for you today. I am so excited to introduce you to Heidi and Lane, who are in the very sunny, the very hot Phoenix, Arizona. While we were just chit-chatting, getting ready today, I said to Heidi, is it 110 degrees? And she went, no, that would be nice. What is it really, Heidi?
118.
118.
Yes.
Oh, 118. So they know the heat. So I've been looking forward to this one, Heidi and Lane, because I'm sure you know I am also a Shrunk3D franchisee. So we made the same decision here. So I can't wait to hear about your story. But this is not about me. I'm looking forward to meeting you. So first of all, just thanks for being on the show. Appreciate it.
Thank you so much for having us. We've been excited about this as well.
Good. Very good. Before we get into franchising Shrunk3D, I would love to just hear about you, who you are, your family.
So Lane and I met in high school way, way, way long ago in Tucson, Arizona. We kind of went our separate ways, met back up in 2010 in San Diego, California, and we bought into our first franchise in 2013 in San Diego. It was a non-medical in-home care company called Senior Helpers. So we ran that successfully, and then Lane has always had his mining engineering career, so that's always been number one, and we appreciate that. But that opportunity sent us back to Arizona, where we parted ways with Senior Helpers, and we're looking to get into something else. And fast forward, Shrunk3D is our everything right now. We love it so much.
Oh, I love it. I love it. Tell me about your family.
So we have 2 little ones. We have an 8-year-old Leo, and we have a 7-year-old
Leo.
Kaya. And this is our son, Leo.
There's Leo right there. I love it.
Our
Leo Shrunk.
Yep. Our daughter's
Very good.
figurine is on its way. So we had her pose with our dog, and the first couple takes didn't go quite as well. So we just
I'm working on another one.
Yes.
Very good.
Yeah.
Very good. Well, very good. So I noticed also in your franchise history that you had franchised before Shrunk3D. Talk to me, before we even get to Shrunk3D, what made you choose 2 young children, a family, to go into business ownership through franchising? Even before we talk about the brands, how did franchising get your interest?
Franchising definitely piqued our interest because after we moved here and throughout COVID, I was dedicated being, for the most part, a stay-at-home mom. And then I wanted to get back out and do something. We really enjoyed having our first franchise, and we worked really hard with that brand. However, it wasn't something that was quite as family friendly. So Shrunk3D really appealed to us because we do expos and sporting events and tournaments, and we bring our kids with us, and they help sell. They're just as enthusiastic about it as we are. So
I love that. I love that. Okay, so how did you find your first franchise, and what was that experience like? Because it wasn't Shrunk3D, right?
no.
The first franchise, we did it on our own, and
Okay.
very stressful. Didn't get a lot of information. Had to do a lot of searching on our own. But we ended up going in-home care, and
We had an uncle.
we had an uncle that was doing it, so that helped and kind of put us in the way. But that when we found Shrunk, we actually used the Sidekick, franchise Sidekick, and they were amazing. We used Ross, and they took away all the fears. I basically just told them, look, Ross, we're looking for something for the family, something with technology, and we don't want a lot of employees, and we don't want, a lot of overhead. And so he presented a bunch of different franchises that met that criteria, and we went with Shrunk3D.
Excellent. So if the first experience, and I'm just trying to read your demeanor, Heidi, you kind of went, oh, no. It sounds like the first experience in franchising was less organized. A lot of the work was on you. What made you decide we're going to try this again? We're going to give it another chance. We want to look at franchising again. There was still something about the model that kept you hooked.
Yeah, I loved the aspect of Shrunk3D. I really liked that here in the Arizona market. I think it's important going into a business. In San Diego, we didn't know anyone. We were transplants there, so we had some friends. But here, now that we had the opportunity to come back to our home state, we have so many friends and family that live here. We really thought that we could network with the people that we know in our own backyard and really work a profitable business based on the networking that we had available to us in comparison to having an in-home care franchise in San Diego, where we were 10 years younger and really didn't have anyone that we knew in that market.
Basically, franchises, in my opinion, they make it simple, right? So it's simple, everything's set up for you. There's systems in place, you follow the systems, and then they're usually scalable. So and Shrunk met that. Shrunk is very simple. There's systems in place, and you can definitely scale Shrunk. Like this Friday, we partnered with Arizona State University, and we have an appointment set to scan Sparky, the AD, the athletic director of the university.
And their mascot.
And mascot. Yeah, and then the CLC is going to pay for 31 of their employees to get scanned at this event as well. So it's a big win for us, and we're really excited. And this is just the start of, I think, sports. From here, we can go to the Diamondbacks and the Cardinals, and so we're really excited. And that's the scalable part I was talking about. It really can't scale quickly.
And this versus our in-home care franchises, we're running this. We're the day-to-day. We're not having to hire caregivers, which has proven to be, we've been doing it for a long time now, but I just really wanted to get away from having the hiring process of keeping employees on is definitely difficult. So getting away from that and just knowing that we can do this for the most part part-time and on weekends and together as a family is ideal for us in the stage of life that we're in right now.
I love that. I love that you're talking how you work it around your family. So explain that a little more. Lane, you're fully employed, full-time employee. And so Heidi, this is your 100% focus. And it sounds like you're able to pull the kids in to help with this as well, even at their young ages.
Oh, definitely. It's so cute. I say to my son, I'm going to run to, go to the snack bar really quick for you. And I come back and he's telling someone it's a 3 to 4 week turnaround. The scan only takes 2 seconds. We take 200 pictures and I couldn't be more proud. So yeah.
Oh, that's excellent. It just becomes a family affair. It has for my family as well. My whole family, I think every one of my sons knows how to work the booth themselves. It's just such a fun business. So I'm glad that that's the same for your family. I'd like to hear a little more about when you were getting to know the home care business. Compare that to meeting Ross. I'd love to know how you found Ross at Sidekick. He's incredible. What the experience was with Ross, and then probably Ross introduced you to Kim here in the Fast Lane. Love to hear about your experience with Kim. Compare how well you got to know the brands. What was confirmation day like? Just the experience of choosing Shrunk, if you don't mind.
It was night and day, to be honest. When we were looking for our first franchise back in 2013, we just used Google. And found franchise lists and franchise.com and what are the top 10 here and there, and I didn't really know. And so we kind of just took my uncle's lead and went with Senior Helpers and didn't really look at any other franchises, to be honest. We kind of just dove in and went for it and then spent all our time going through the FTD on our own, going to D-Day on our own, not having any support, anyone to ask questions to. Never even, kind of went through the item 19 on our own, but no one to explain that to us. So it was just a lot of fear, a lot of kind of like, what are we getting ourselves involved with? Who's going to help us? Um, and then we got into it. And we were very successful, so it worked out in the end. Heidi's an amazing business person. She ran that company as well. I kept my full-time job, and she just crushed it. But moving was what stopped us from having that. We moved to LA after that, so that was hard. But when we got back to Arizona, and the kids were at a point now where they're full-time in school, and they're out of preschool. She's like, I'm ready to work again. I want to do something. And I'm like, well, let's go franchise again, right? Let's try it again. But I said, this time we know a little more about franchising. I'm like, let's look up a consulting company. So I called 3 companies, got vetted out, the normal process. Ended up picking Ross with Sidekick, and the process was seamless. It was smooth. It was fun. I looked forward to our calls. Yeah, he laid everything out real clear for me to understand what was going on, what the expectations were, kind of the path that we were going to take, the journey that we were going to go on. And each week he showed me 3 to 5 franchises, and we'd go through them, and we would talk about the area, the market, the territories that were available, the finance, the costs, the financials of them, right? How much they're making. And I always went back to Shrunk3D. Every time he'd show me 3, 4 new ones, I'm like, I don't know, man. We got no one in Phoenix right now, right? So we're first market movers.
No one really even out west. We were the furthest west at the time, and this was only about 4 months ago. So yeah.
So we kind of picked our territory we wanted and started working with Kim after that.
Mm-hmm.
Kim is amazing. We love Kim.
Amazing. Yep. Amazing.
We just saw
I
Kim
do too.
in
She's
Cancun.
incredible.
She's great. But we worked with Kim, and just like Ross, again, just very, very nice. I mean, when we first saw her in Charleston, we literally ran up and gave her a hug. We felt like we knew her. Like we felt like we were friends with her already. Mm-hmm. And then she made the whole D-Day process really fun, and that went great. Very comfortable. The interview process was wonderful. It was good to see everyone in person. And then when we signed, this time it was like we were so excited, and we're ready to go. We're ready to get our marketing going, and we know the path we want to go on with the trailer. So we just felt more prepared once we did sign and got the trailer.
How long did it take to get the trailer? Were things on time? What was funding like? Talk about that experience. That before you get started, that's a hard stage because you're so ready to go, but you have to go line up your funding, and then you're waiting on your trailer. Then you're trying to figure out how to line up events, but you don't have the trailer yet to show off, right? So talk about those early days.
Sure. So again, Ross helped me. He sent me over to Ben & Trends, and they worked with me on that side. I actually worked with Larry, who was, I think, one of the founding guys, and he's incredible. I just had to tell Larry, hey, explain that again, Larry, to a normal person, please. You've been doing this a long time, clearly.
Layman's language, please.
Yeah. I'm an engineer too, and I'm like, these numbers are crazy. I don't know what's going on, but they took their time. Ben & Trends did a great job. They took their time, got everything set up. We ended up deciding to finance the trailer. Just it seemed like a better deal for us to save some cash. The finance process was super easy as well. It's kind of like just financing a car. So we financed that, paid for the franchise fee through Ben & Trends' process, used the Rob's program. So it was really easy. Just sign some paperwork, read it, ask Larry the same question 5 times, and then we were good to go.
And he answered it 5 times with a lot of patience, I'm sure. I know Larry.
It didn't matter. I work like 24/7, at least I feel like it. And I'd eat him at 5 in the morning, he'd respond. I'd email him at 9 o'clock at night, and he would respond. So he was on top of it. It was a really good experience with Ben & Trends. So definitely speak highly of them. I'd suggest them to anybody. And then after that, it was, the trailer was about 3 months out. We got it pretty quick. We got it right on time. We had a huge event already lined up. So there was kind of pressure on Shrunk, to be honest.
Yeah.
We had the IFA annual conference in Phoenix, and we worked out a deal with them, and we shrunk about 30 of their members.
Wow, how cool. So you did an IFA event as your very first event?
Yes.
So cool.
It was nerve-wracking. We had a line out of our door. I mean,
I hadn't
people
even
were leaving.
scanned anyone. We scanned a neighbor, thankfully.
Oh, no.
Our neighbor had
Yeah.
his 2 daughters with their dog, and their dog just sadly had to be put down a week
Practice. Yeah.
ago. But that
Oh,
was
so
our
now they
first
have that though.
practice. Oh, they're so grateful that they
Oh,
have
yeah.
it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we did one scan and then off to the convention center, and it was a line out the door for like 3 days straight.
We did 124 scans in probably 12 hours.
Wow, how cool. And that was your first job. That
Yeah.
is so cool. So yeah, you put some pressure back on the franchisor. You're
Correct.
like, you have to get us our trailer so we can do our first job.
Yes,
I
we got
love
kinda
that.
lucky.
And they did it. They got it to you on
They
time.
did.
Yes.
Yeah. Now, and seeing the trailer wasn't a surprise because you saw one at confirmation day. You knew exactly what was headed your way. Is that all accurate?
Yep.
Yes. And we got to do
Yeah.
our scan on confirmation day. So this is
Oh, I
first
love
we
that.
did.
Look how cool
The
that
process
is.
was
Turn it around. Can we see the whole? That is so cool.
yeah,
I think the little statues are so cool. Very cool.
we love it.
Excellent.
Very-
So you do 120 scans at your very first job. How did that job go? How was it fulfilled? Did corporate do a good job? Everybody got their statues?
Yeah, as far as we know, we only saw a few people post about it, and we didn't have any complaints. We got no emails. So as far as we know, everything went smooth. I know the people that did post theirs just loved it. They were just raving about it. And some of the other cool things, I think, was it there? It might have been a different event. We had someone else come up to us and said, "We got scanned in Orlando, and we have our statue, and it's the coolest thing ever."
Yep.
And so that kind of was confirmation for us as well. Like, okay, cool, this is going to work.
It is such a novel concept. I mean, that's really what attracted us as well. And just with kids who play sports, it's such a community thing. It's just show up with your booth and everybody's interested and everybody wants their kid shrunk or their pet shrunk. It's just such a unique concept. But Heidi, one thing that you said that I'd love to hear more about is you said as compared to the first franchise, this one's ours. We work this. This one's not about employees. It's ours. Can you talk a little bit to, and not often do I have guests that get to compare and contrast two different franchise models. That's very unique. So I'd love to hear how this is different in the simplicity and how that had really attracted you to this model.
Yes, definitely. So with in-home care, as much as I loved it, I loved meeting our clients, I loved helping our clients, but it was hard. So after I would go in and do the initial consultation with clients and they would sign up, they were expecting they would get me, that I would be doing their care for them. And I would have to explain, no, unfortunately not. But, uh, our caregivers are like our family. And I did do my due diligence 110-fold of hiring amazing caregivers that were with us for a very long time. But that was a hard process then handing that off to someone else. So I stayed very committed. I wanted to be very involved, and I was, and we did wonderful with that. But the hiring process, the turnover, being in a very expensive city, San Diego is not a city that you can live in and make less than $20 an hour at the time. So the difference between that and this is ours. I book these events. I'm the one that shows up. I'm the one that does the scans. But also too, we like the model that after we go and do the event, we may have some customer service on the back end, but really we love the aspect that corporate handles all the back end. So once we're at the event, we do the scans, we're pretty much done. So they do a great job with fulfilling the figurines on time, the quality, all of that is done seamlessly and amazing. They do an amazing job. So
Yeah. Talk about that customer experience. So I'm in line at the IFA. I'm one of 120 people in line at the IFA. I still can't get over that. That's so cool. That was your first event.
Yeah.
Talk about what it's like being scanned. I mean, our listeners have no idea what what the booth looks like. The 3D cameras. Can you talk about how long it takes, how long they wait for their statue, how that all works?
yeah, the process itself is pretty fast. I always joke with our guests that come to our trailer that it will take me longer to input your shipping information than it does to actually do the scan. So yeah, they fill out the shipping information. I get them in the booth. We scan them. It takes 2 seconds, literally. Their scan is done. They all have the same reaction. We're already done, and I have them look at their pictures. I show them a couple of different options, explain to them that we use all of the pictures in order to make the 3D figurine. And then I explain after that it'll go off to our designers. They just double check everything. They make the 3D model. And then it's about 3 to 4 weeks later, you get your figurine shipped to you in a Tiffany blue box, and please share on your social media. So
Yep.
yeah.
Isn't it so cool then when you do see people share, when we see our customers share and they're taking pictures, and we had a family and mom and dad were scanned and then the two boys were scanned and they put them back to back on the counter, and it was just such a neat family memory. It's so different than we have photos all over our house, but the figurines
Yeah.
are really capturing real life. It's very unique.
Yes.
Very cool. So how's it going today? That's how the business started. That's how you found the business. How's it going today? Talk about some of the events that you're booking and where you are in the business today.
We just got yesterday was a great day for us. So we scanned a lady at a rodeo 2 months ago,
Yeah.
3 months ago. And she called us and said her mom's turning 80 and she wants us there for the birthday, and we're going to scan all 10 kids. So that was exciting. And then the ASU one was the big one that I talked about earlier. But yeah, we're going to go scan Sparky on Friday at ASU on their campus at their little area where they do all their Sparky events. I guess you have to book Sparky out, so we had to book Sparky. So we got Sparky booked from 10 to 11:30.
Yeah.
So that's exciting. And then there's a lot, they want to do a lot with it. They want to sell Sparky in the bookstore. So we're going to work out a deal with the bookstore to sell Sparky. They want us as an activation moving forward. So we're going to do the first football game when the season kicks off in August. We're going to be there at the tailgates to scan. And then we're going to.
And now, I don't mean to cut you off, but now that you have Sparky, I can be scanned with Sparky, correct?
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah.
You can.
So that's, now that you have Sparky on file, you can scan me and I'm right next to Sparky.
Yep.
Or I can be going like this,
Right.
pointing at Sparky. Okay, very cool.
Actually,
Talk about the bookstore. You're going to be sourcing the bookstore? They're going to sell Sparky through the bookstore?
we're working on it now. That's
Wow.
the goal, right? So the lady that we worked with at ASU, she's already contacted the bookstore and told them this is something that we want to sell. We're tired of stuffed animals. We're tired of T-shirts. This is new. This is cool. This is something different. This will stand out. And so we're going to work with the bookstore hopefully Friday when we're out there to scan. We're coming up with our price now. We're obviously going to give them a great discount to try to push the merchandise through there. But that's kind of the goal. And actually, mascots have been really good for us. We had Baxter, the Diamondbacks mascot, showed up at a Litchfield Little League grand opening day, and I went and I just said, "Hey, Baxter, you want to get scanned?" And he looked at me and he wouldn't talk. He stayed in his character.
Same character. Yeah.
And he just kind of nodded, and I just said, "Follow me." And I ran for the booth, and he jumped in, and we scanned Baxter, and that scan came out amazing. It looks so great. So we're gonna move to the Diamondbacks soon. We kind of just figured during the season it's kind of hard, and they're not going to want to talk to us right now. So we're just being patient, but growing the brand the right way.
Excellent. I'm hearing some word of mouth. What is the other form of marketing that you've seen as effective so far?
Definitely some of the events that we didn't end up doing a ton of scans at that, we get a little discouraged, but those are the ones that have been turning out these opportunities. So just to stay positive with it, you may not do a lot of scans, but you're still marketing the concept of it, and it's extremely unique. So also we try to do a lot on social media, and I will have to say that Shrunk3D corporate helps on the back end with social media, with specific branding, with varsity cheer events, things of that nature. So we get so much more support from them that we ever thought possible, that it's just such an added bonus. We appreciate it 100%.
Yeah, Zach, I mean, you have incredible founders on this brand. They're so great to work with. And you were ahead of me, Heidi, because that was my next question so you're ahead of me. So that's excellent. What are you experiencing from a support perspective as a franchisor? Obviously they fulfill the product and that's incredible. You just do the scans, you send in the orders. And then like you said, they do all the fulfillment, which is such an advantage for franchisees. But talk about training, marketing support, that social media aspect. How are they helping you from a franchisor perspective?
From a franchisor perspective, and again, in comparison to our first venture with the in-home care business, yes, obviously technology and social media has come a long ways since then, but having a national brand manager, Tom Hodgson, he's absolutely incredible I can text him or call him with a question night and day. Tanner with with both him and the designers that we have on staff, same thing. I can shoot him a text or give him a call. They get back right away. So as far as support goes, McKenna was absolutely great in our onboarding training. She had a checklist, and we just kind of we were fast tracked because we were anticipating the IFA. So we kind of went through the training a little faster than most, but she did a great job with that as well. So as far as support goes, even Zach and Micah, who are the founders, we can easily get them on a call any day of the week, and they can help us walk through us with troubleshooting pretty much anything that we need. So we're thankful for all the support that we receive.
I love that you have direct access, not only to the team, but directly even to the founders, like you said, Zach and Micah. That's incredible. Glad to hear that they're supporting you in that way. What did I miss? What else would you say just about being franchisees, either of Shrunk3D, franchising in general? What did I miss?
I think we talked about this the other day, that we're so proud that this is an American company, that it's given us kind of financial freedom, more time spent with our kids, not just with Shrunk. I think with a lot of franchises these days is just the pride, and the aspect that we get to do this with our family is what we go to sleep smiling about it and looking forward to the future. We've only been doing this since mid-February, and we keep pinching ourselves like, wow, it hasn't been very long at all, but we've had some incredible events, met amazing people, and just more opportunities are coming every day. So we are very excited about the future.
We love also what it does for families. Like we mentioned our neighbor. So when we scanned
Mm-hmm.
his two daughters and their dog, and the dog passed away, the day the dog passed away, he immediately texted me and said, "Thank you so much for scanning Homer. We have him forever now." And and that just made us feel so good.
Yeah.
And the other fun part too is when we leave, our daughter's 6, she's the young one, and she's a lover, and she's very connected to us, and she doesn't like when we leave. But when we left, on Valentine's Day, when we left on Valentine's Day this year, she was really sad and she didn't want us to go. And, it's okay, baby. We'll be home soon. We're just going to dinner. When we came home, she was in our bed sleeping, and I picked her up, and in her arms was our Shrunk, and it fell out. And because this gave her comfort, this
Yeah.
brought her comfort and made her feel closer to mom and dad. And it was such a heart. When we were like, this is amazing. We love this business so much because of stories like those.
Yeah.
So true. It's such a meaningful brand in such a different way. We have so many brands in the fast lane that impact communities in different ways. But as you know, I chose this one too. I'm a franchisee of this one too. And I love the community aspect of it. I love when you pull up, even when we're preparing for an event the next day and my husband just has our trailer in front of our house and all the neighbors are like, what is this? It's such a fun business that does bring families together, and it does capture memories in a way that's so different from a flat photo.
Oh yeah.
I mean, it really does. So I love that story about your daughter. That's incredible, and how meaningful this is. So what's next? Shrunk3D for many years to come?
That's the goal.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
the goal is to get a trailer somewhere full time. I think almost like a brick
Okay.
and mortar. So that's kind of what we're working on now.
Oh, very cool.
Want to get it somewhere where people just know it's there all the time, and then get a second trailer. We want to get maybe more involved with weddings. We're not sure how that's going to work, but we definitely want to try a wedding out. I think capturing those memories of a wedding will be so much fun, and people will love it. And then we want to get involved with sororities too. We want to scan all the sorority girls and then have cases in the sorority houses where they can come back in 20 years and see what they looked like with their statue there.
I love that. That's so cool. Like a memory. Sororities I hadn't thought of. We've also never done a wedding. We've done graduations, but a wedding is a great idea. I'll be looking forward to hearing how that goes for you. What about the franchisee system? Do you talk to other franchisees about what's working or not working? Are you connected with franchisees?
Yeah, I actually do. I help Kim, well, not too much longer, but I've been helping do the calls for potential franchisees that are interested in Shrunk. And I love talking to them. I love the questions that they ask. And I love that I can help them in this process, because if you don't know, you really don't know. But to be able to walk them along before they get to go out to Charleston to D-Day, they can ask me all the questions, ask about, what events we're booking and every market is different. But that's been really fun for me, is helping out potential franchisees to let them know that this is a great concept, and I think it would be amazing for them and their market.
Congrats to you. This is a pioneer brand. I mean, this was something very different. It's not painting houses, it's not lawn care. It's something very different. Not that there's anything wrong with those franchise systems as well, but this one was just so novel, so different. And I remember my husband and I pausing with that too and going, "Okay, are we ready to take on something very different?" So, congrats to you on your success, on finding a brand that's a great fit, not only for you, but for your children as well.
Right.
I hope it's in your family for many years to come. Heidi and Lane, I just so enjoyed this conversation. I don't get an opportunity to talk to franchisees that have been in a couple systems very often. So thank you so much for giving us a glimpse into your incredible Untold franchise story, and congratulations on your success. Thank you so much.
Thank
Thank you.
you.
Thank you to Fastlane.